Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Very busy 3-hour program lined up today. Game 1, Stanley Cup Final, coming up a little bit later on tonight. We'll hit that with best bets plenty of times in the next 3 hours. We have a busy card tonight in Major League Baseball. Great guest today on the program, including Jeff Davis on the Cup Final and the College World Series in 30 minutes. Eddie Olczyk live from Edmonton coming up in about an hour. Mike Palm, long-awaited return there. Jeff Seeley and Matt Youmans on the program. Plus, we have a huge tennis match ongoing right now at the French Open. Zverev and Djokovic. Zverev took the first set 6-4. Right now, Joker leads the second set 4-2. We'll keep you abreast of that. Joker was just minus 130 to win the match. Then has come back a little bit here.
Good one. I can't believe what happened earlier this morning with Boysen and what she's done. Her opponent was rattled. The crowd's cheering for her. She's a wild card entry, and she was 300-1 down the street. She plays Coco in the semis now.
Wow.
She was plus 550. And now
Huge.
she's in. Yeah, couldn't believe it. I think I'll read the article on the air. It's so good coming up later and win some, lose some. You got to go back to, I think, Jennifer Capriati for a girl that came out unranked, wild card, whatever, and to make this run.
And don't forget, don't bury the lead, Paulie. Break out the Colorado Rockies. Are you serious?
Can you believe the tweet? Huh? How cool is that?
That the Rockies sent that out?
Yes.
So I love them for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
For a moment here, they're like my favorite team in all of sports. So they heard about it. Everybody heard about it after the weekend when Scotty Scheffler won again. And that tweet took off and went viral from plenty of people. But they're like, wins since the early part of May. And it was Scotty Scheffler 3 and the Rockies none. As soon as they beat the Marlins today, 3-2 to finish off the sweep, they sent out wins since June 2nd. Rockies 3, Scotty Scheffler 0.
Yep.
Great job, whoever runs that Twitter account, man. That you won the day with that. That was tremendous.
Yep, and it's an absolute embarrassment if you're the Marlins. I mean, that's a joke. They came in 9-50, and they come into your house and sweep you.
Did you have them again today?
You're damn right, and there's nothing you could do about it as well. I don't know what's more shocking. They won a series, swept, or what transpired watching the Tylenol murders on Netflix.
Well, but how about the shocking prices, though?
Yeah, well, that mean what? Yeah, plus 160, plus 140? Yeah. But, I mean, it's not that crazy, but it's going to shift now that they play the Mets coming up in a 4-game set. So, you know.
Well, the Marlins are also awful, though.
They are, yeah.
And they trotted out, like, bad pitchers. Alcantara was good yesterday. But other than that, they're a terrible baseball team.
Yeah.
And they're laying $1.80, $1.90 in some of these games.
Yeah. You don't disrespect the Rockies. So that's too bad. It's too bad because I wanted them at least to lose 2 out of 3 with my bets aside. Because I wanted you could really get creative as a bookmaker. But you still can, I guess. But
of course you can.
But the drought's over. About how many games they're going to win. You know, the next. I know Chris Bennett was sitting on a great prop. He was going to put it up the whole. When will they win their next series? And just put it all up. But you know they did it now. But that's still how many games are they going to win? You can do stuff with Scheffler, but I can't. That's just a joke if you're the Marlins.
Paul, do we have to already update the standings for most wins in June? The Rockies have 3.
Yeah.
They're at the top of the standings. What were they, 10,000 to 1? They have the most wins in June?
Missing a 0.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Tough one.
All right.
And they win a low-scoring series, too. That's the other thing. They win 3-2.
It's so good.
They scored 3 early, and it holds up. There's the tweet. So good.
What a tweet.
Yeah, good job, guys.
That's award-winning.
Yeah. Yep. Good job.
Okay. So the series price for the Stanley Cup Final now here at Circa, other spots, well, it was $1.29 at the high point that I saw anyway here at Circa. I guess it may have gotten higher. There's a spot down the street that's $1.30 right now in Edmonton. That's been like almost one-way traffic so far.
I don't know.
On the Oilers here.
Yep.
Open up a pick'em.
Well, everyone thinks it's going to go 6 or 7. I hope they're right. I'm rooting for Canada. I'm rooting for Edmonton, as I always do. End the drought, 1993. Be great to see McDavid win a cup as well. But this is a tough call. I mean, this is a toss-up, unlike the NBA Finals. So the rematch, you have that. You have Edmonton's better. Come down to the goalie matchup. But as we talked to our friend Tom Gazzola yesterday, our buddy in Edmonton, I asked him how concerned is he with the penalty kill, and he said very, and you have to be. They've allowed 16 power play goals in the playoffs. They were 94% last year. They were all-time good with the penalty kill. Not so much this year. And Florida is number 1 has been excellent on the power play and power play goals in the playoffs. So you have a team coming in 12-1 last 13 as a home favorite against a team that's 8-2 on the road and scoring a ton of goals. So it's a great matchup on paper. I don't know what's going to happen. Can't wait for tonight, and I would believe anything about. I mean, that goes for all these props, most goals, what goalie's going to stand out. Will special teams decide it? All of it.
So I looked at a lot of the advanced numbers going into this series, right, and how they're sitting right now with the numbers overall in the playoffs. You're exactly right. There only a couple of things really stand out. These teams are very close with most of the advanced metrics. Number one would be the PK, like you talked about, and that is Edmonton third worst overall. Yeah. The Panthers number one. They have been brilliant at slowing down the opposing team's power play. I'll flip it, and I'll give you a couple of things that stand out for Edmonton, and there are only a couple of things, but here they are. Expected goals for per 60 minutes. Edmonton, 2.83. That is second best in the playoffs overall. Florida, still not that far behind, 2.55, and that's seventh overall in the playoffs. But maybe, how about expected goal differential? Edmonton is 8.02, which is first. Florida's second, but they're at 4.89. And you have to go from like second to fifth to find a similar drop-off. So they have been almost lapping the field with expected goal differential so far through this many games. Other than that, like the high danger shots so far in the playoffs, very close. Florida has 36, Edmonton has 34. High danger shots against Edmonton has allowed 28, Florida 25. Again, you're kind of nitpicking there. And I guess the Corsi, the shot attempts percentage, Edmonton is seventh overall, Florida is fifth, kind of close. And face-off percentage wins. Neither one of these teams have actually thrived so far. They're both out of the top 10 in the playoffs at winning the face-off. Mm-hmm. So nothing big there to report home to, other than it's been kind of bad. I will say that this is kind of intriguing. You know, you talked about that yesterday. You want more of the record breaker props up for the NHL Stanley Cup, kind of like we have for the NBA Finals. I found this one at BetMGM. Connor McDavid to break Gretzky's Stanley Cup final points record. So you got to bet. It's only a one-way market. You have to bet over 13.5. It's 7-1. If it's a seven-game series, Can he average 2 points per game?
I don't even know about that. What do you think happens tonight with the layoff? Is it high scoring? I like under 6.5, but is it high scoring, low scoring, goal in the first 10, first period over? I don't know. You know, the other thing, too, is Florida number one in penalties. So if this Edmonton power play can get going.
I think it will.
That also
you give them enough chances, right? That's going to break through at some point.
Yeah. 12-3 match, fifth in the expansion era. Last two, Gretzky and Crosby won their first cup with the rematch. You talked about that, how unique this is. You have the rematch. It was two complete different series last year. Florida won the first three games and outscored them 11-4. Edmonton 18-5 in the next three. And then 6-5 and 4-3 Florida in the two regular season meetings. Ninth team to go to the Cup 3 years in a row. They'd be the second team in 40 years. They'd be the 10th team to repeat. This is the most astonishing thing I've read out of everything all this week with the Cup. This is the ninth time. Excuse me. This is the eighth. They're the eighth team, Edmonton, to reach the Cup since 67-68, despite losing their first two playoff games. The previous 7 won it.
Yeah.
How kooky is that?
Saw that today.
You lose the first two and you win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, the first two of your first round series, right. And you come back. Yeah.
Yeah, that is bananas. But as far as the goaltending too, say what you want. Skinner's 6-1 last 7 with a 1-4-1 and 3 shutouts. But Bob, who's plus 250 now to win the Conn Smythe, 8 of the last 9, he's allowed 2 goals or fewer, and he's got a 1-3-4.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a key to the series, too.
You can find different numbers on this, like Bob to record 18-plus saves every game, 20-plus, 25, whatever. But Bobrovsky to record 20-plus plus saves in every game is plus 150. If you flip it and go Stuart Skinner, to record 20-plus saves in every game, it's plus 260.
Now, why will that lose? Unless he gets chased, right? That doesn't... They're going to hold Florida to 19 shots or something? You don't think?
Well, I think
seems good.
There's going to be, I think one or both these teams will get to 20-plus shots on goal every single game.
I do.
Right?
Yeah, Edmonton's averaging 31 in the last 14. There's also a prop up where there'll be 10-plus goals scored in a game. That's available, too.
I think we might have one that's like to the moon.
Uh-huh. You got shutouts, you got empty net stuff, you got 10-plus goals, hat tricks, everything.
Now, I want to run this one by you. How about this? The leader in shots for the whole series. McDavid is plus 220, and of the players remaining right now and playing starting tonight, McDavid has 59 shots. He's 8 up on Sam Bennett. Now, the playoffs, up to this point, they do not matter. It's only for the Stanley Cup. But he has 8 more than Bennett. He's plus 220. Bennett's plus 475. Draisaitl is 6-1. He has 42 so far in the playoffs. He's 17 behind McDavid. But again, those previous numbers don't matter. They're not going to factor in. Can Draisaitl lead the series in shots? I think there's an angle there where he might.
Yeah. I don't hate that.
And he's 6-1.
Okay. You know, Kane's had a lot of shots on goal, too. I'm sure that's a big price, though.
22-1.
3 or more shots on goal, 9 of the last 14. How about most goals in the series? Why not take the guy who's got the most goals in the playoffs in Bennett?
Sure.
I don't hate that at 11, 12 to 1, right?
That's a pretty big number on him.
I
completely agree.
After what he's done. But that's a great thing about these teams is the depth and how many different players have scored and how many different guys have a point. Bet smarter this football season. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Get a full year, just $199. Full pre-order of the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook by Josh Applebaum. No-nonsense guide to reading the market, spotting sharp action, and making smarter NFL bets. You get the morning email from Bill 80, every best bet, every host, every guest, the real-time betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, the dog videos, and our NFL betting guide, which drops July 1st, less than 2 months out from our first football game. VSiN.com/subscribe, code BOOK. Code BOOK to sign up.
We'll update this great match at the French Open coming up next with the betting numbers. And we'll get to Major League Baseball as well. His prop looks juicy yet again, but I'm staying away. I'll explain why next here on VSiN.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. We're live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. What a night tonight is. The Stanley Cup Final gets underway in Edmonton between the Oilers and the Panthers. And Paulie, how cool is this? The great Eddie Olczyk is kind enough to join us here on game day. He is calling the game in a few hours on TNT, and he joins us via video, by the way, on the Progressive guest line. Eddie, thank you so much. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Mitch and Paulie. Great to be with you guys. Yeah, great time of year. Got the Belmont coming this Saturday, so right in between games 2 and 3, in between a venues change between Edmonton and South Florida. And just to tip everybody off out there, we got the whole crew on site here for our TNT coverage. So we got a full house. We got all the heavy hitters here, so looking forward to sharing the stage with the boys tonight. Looking forward to game 1. So it's always great to be with you guys, and thanks for having me as always.
Excellent. Can't wait to watch the coverage. No doubt you guys are going to hit a home run with it. I'll begin with this. So the series price opened up pretty much a flat pick'em at most books, right? And then earlier today, like here at Circa, they took a lot of sharp money. Oilers were almost touching minus 130, and we talked to Jeff Davis here at Circa a half an hour ago, and he said he was stunned when he saw the Panthers at some books today got to plus 115. Your thoughts on how the series price shifted?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, Mitch, that I looked at this series, obviously, once our series, we did the Eastern Conference, ESPN did the Western Conference, and once Florida was able to take care of Carolina, and you knew it was going to be a rematch, and then, obviously the next night we watched Edmonton take care of Dallas. I mean, the first thing I thought of was it's a pick'em. Like I thought absolutely, again, not knowing if somebody comes up lame, somebody's not playing. I mean, all those type of things. But I just thought flat out with watching the teams, and you look at the path, especially of Edmonton. Like that's the one thing that is super impressive. Like you could argue all the way through these playoffs, you could go LA. Yeah, a lot of people thought that they could make a real, they could make a real, serious run. Vegas, absolutely one of the favorites. Dallas, absolutely one of the favorites. So you look at the road that they traveled, pretty darn impressive. And, when you look at Florida and you think about 3 straight Stanley Cups and you look at going up against Tampa, who a lot of people, and I was one of them, thought that Tampa had a real legitimate chance to make a real serious run and get to the final. I just thought at the end of the day, I looked at both of these teams and the way that they were playing. I just thought it was, flip a coin. You want to flip it, 49 times and say, okay, yeah, I would say, yeah, you're probably right in that ballpark of maybe laying a little bit, but I can make a case for both teams, and I'm expecting. Look, I'm packed for 17 days, boys.
Yeah.
So I think you know where my mind is here with this series.
Oh, excellent. Very good. So you're the perfect guy to ask, too, because you won at 94 with the Rangers, and that was New York against Vancouver. So as we go here, it's a war of attrition. Do you think the travel could play a role, and plus how much hockey they've played?
Paulie, I think it's a great point, and I think really where people might want to look ahead just a tad is so you have game Wednesday, game Friday 1 and 2. You have 2 days in between games 2 and 3. As I mentioned earlier, change of venue. You go down to South Florida. Monday is game 3. They do not play game 4 until Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you got a 2-day bump there. So I would look at it and go, you're going to empty the tank on Monday night. Like you might play your big boys on both teams. Maybe you play them a little bit more on Monday night, knowing you got the 2 days off coming. Now, as you guys know, in hockey, you could get a marathon game where you play 3 or 4 overtimes. Like it does happen. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I would say is that after you play game 4 in South Florida on Thursday, don't ask me the dates because I have no idea what the date of the month is right now. But next Thursday, that will be game 4. There is only 1 day in between traveling from Florida to Edmonton for a game Saturday night back in Edmonton. So I don't want to say maybe that's where the series maybe takes a turn, but maybe if you look at and see how the series has gone and maybe ice time of certain players, I think that 48 hours, less than 48 hours, because they're going to obviously lose some time. They're going back with an early game here in Edmonton, all 6 o'clock local starts, 8 in the East. I think that might be something to look at. So, but then after that, 2 days off travel, and then if you get back for a game 7. So I think the middle of the schedule might be where really maybe somebody takes a stranglehold, on a Monday night on game 3 in South Florida, and then all of a sudden you're playing 2 games in less than 48 hours.
Yeah, great breakdown. Phenomenal. I think special teams can decide it as well. Florida number 1 in penalties. Edmonton's kill's been weak. Yeah. They've allowed 16 power play goals. Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. Tonight, I believe it's Wes McCauley, veteran referee, been around 1,000 years. Francis Sherrod, very similar. I think for the most part, I think the referees have done an amazing job. Have they missed some calls? 100%. That just happens. But I think that the experienced referees that I think Chris Rooney is the backup official tonight as far as the referees, because as you guys know, we've had 4 or 5 games this year in the playoffs where we've lost officials in games because of injuries. So, just something to keep an eye on. But I think they're going to let them play. Am I expecting 8, 9, 10 power plays tonight? Now, I'm not. Now, I mean, if the game gets out of hand and it's 5-1 after 2, then all of a sudden somebody's looking to take a hooking and an arm while they're going to the penalty box. That's just how it is in playoff hockey. But I think you're right. I mean, specialty teams always become a big part of this, and who can catch fire when they do get that man advantage, because the way that both of these teams have the ability, and obviously with Connor McDavid leading the charge, they have the ability to turn the tide and get the momentum with a huge power play. So, look, if you're going to take penalties, they better be good ones, because I don't think you want to be playing that game. I don't think either team wants to play that type of game when you look at the firepower when the teams go on the power play.
Spot on. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Eddie Olczyk, he's calling tonight, Game 1 and the entire series on TNT, Oilers and the Panthers, and he is on the Progressive Guest Line. So let's say that the referees let him play, right? And we're not going to get a lot of these teams, right, on the penalty or other, the opposing team going to the box. If it's played mostly
Florida,
5-on-5.
Florida.
They're okay.
Florida.
They're okay?
Florida.
There you go.
Yeah.
Couldn't even get my question out.
Yeah, I mean, look at, I think when you look at Zach, both teams are very healthy, and look at, we know that it's not, players are not healthy, but the barn is full of thoroughbreds and they're all ready to go regardless if they're 50%, 90 or 100. Zach Hyman loss for Edmonton is a massive loss for a couple of reasons. He touches every part of their game. He's got jam. He goes to the front of the net. He's an unbelievable puck pursuer and forechecker. But the depth of Edmonton, I think, is really huge where that they have some guys that can fill in that void. Can they fill Zach Hyman's skates? I think Evander Kane can do that because I think he's the one guy that can be an X factor for Edmonton. But if it's playing 5-on-5, and I know Edmonton has proved dramatically, like they're way better at transporting the puck. The big key for me is that can Edmonton avoid and spend less time the pressure that the forecheck of the Florida Panthers have. Like you'll see tonight on our TNT broadcast, I'm doing a game with Kenny Albert and Brian Boucher, and when I bring out my crayons and I bring the telestrator out, there's going to be times where I show the defenseman just staying in the offensive zone for Florida, and they just run it, the wingers of the Edmonton Oilers, and try to keep the play alive. You know, I mean, they do a lot more forward skating than they do backwards on a lot of nights because they want to be aggressive. But at 5-on-5, I just think that Florida is just a tad better when it comes to the overall play in all three zones. That's forecheck, that's defensive zone coverage, that's backtracking, that's, I think, their collective D. But don't kid yourself. Edmonton has proved dramatically. Paul Maurice, the head coach of the Panthers, told us this morning is that I asked him specifically, what can you take from last year's final into this year's final, and what did you see different between now and then? And he said flat out, they're way better defensively than they were. And I think they have the puck more, Mitch and Paulie. I think that they have the puck because they have defensemen like Klingberg, like Wallman, who were acquired late in the season. They are able to transport the puck, give quick exits. So, but I think 5-on-5, the longer it stays on 5-on-5, I believe it helps Florida. But all it takes is one breakdown, and all of a sudden you got the wrong guys on the ice. And we know what Edmonton can do at 5-on-5, especially with the big boys on the ice.
All right, so good. In about 90 seconds here then, you're going to squeeze into Belmont? You're going to go? And do you have a pick for us?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm not only preparing, but I'm really preparing for Saturday. So here we go.
There you go.
What do you need? What do you want to know? You want to know Saturday?
Yes. Yeah.
Look, unfortunately, it looks like the weather is not going to be great, Mitch and Paulie. It looks like it might be another off track, so it's hard not to use the three horses that finished 1, 2, 3 in the Derby. Sovereignty, obviously, he skipped the Preakness. Mm-hmm. Journalism won the Preakness. I didn't think he got a great ride in the Derby. He got an unbelievable ride in the Preakness. And the horse that I think is most dangerous and the best price will be Baeza, number 6. He ran third. He came out of post position number 19. I don't think he really got a chance to run until maybe the last eighth of a mile, quarter of a mile. He was held up. If you go back and watch the replay, I'm hoping Baeza is every bit of maybe 4-1 because the Derby winner is going to get money. Journalism is a legit animal. I hope it comes up fast because I think that would be awesome. But all my plays will be around number 6, Baeza, and then you got Bob Baffert and Mike Smith teaming up with Rodriguez, who won the Wood Memorial. He scratched out of the Derby, and he's going to be on the lead. So I think it's got a chance to be a hell of a race. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. But all my plays will be with number 6, Baeza, and number 7, Journalism.
Dynamite. Can't thank you enough. Have a great call starting tonight in the entire series. The next time you come out to Vegas, if you have time, shoot us a note. T-Bone's on us, Barry's on us, wherever you want to go.
Sounds good, boys. Always great to be with you guys. Keep up the great work. Awesome. I miss you guys in the morning. I know for lifestyle, I know it's much better for you guys, and I'm happy for you, but I got to say selfishly, I do miss you in the morning. So keep up the great work.
Thanks, buddy. Have a great call. We'll get to player props in Major League Baseball coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Back. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. A lot to get into in the final 90 minutes of the program, including a typical Wednesday spot, but it's been a minute here with the maestro Mike Palm as the VP of Circle Las Vegas, the Golden Gate and the D here downtown. Good to see you again, pal. How are you?
Hello, Mitch. Hello, Paul. Yeah, I've been traveling a little bit here and there, and been nice to be back for first time in 3 weeks.
The first time you were at Wrigley Field, and how long?
Well, we were there last year. We went. It was the same time, the same Friday, and the same team, the Reds. It was the same. And Ashcraft started for the Reds that day last year, but he came in relief on this day. I guess it's the worst game the Cubs have played in a while. I mean, they barely got any runners on base. That game was done in 2:20, but they still had a threat in the 8th, where you think they're gonna come back and win the game. So I mean, they're an exciting team.
That's when they brought you up in the booth, right?
We were in the 3rd inning. We like to go do the 3rd inning with Pat Hughes and Ron Coomer, and they're terrific. And we were throwing on a lot of betting angles. Dodgers first time home dog in a year, and all this with the different things like that. So,
On the air you were?
yeah.
And how are they responding to that?
Loved it. Hughes had all these notes.
Oh,
talking
beautiful.
About Fried and Fried's numbers, and it was good. It was good.
Pat Hughes, longtime Brewers guy on the radio with Bob Uecker before he moved over to the Cubs many years ago.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking of your dad. Imagine if it was you and Harry Carey. Can you imagine?
He'd have lost his mind.
Oh, I know.
But the good thing was, because we were in the bleachers, it was cloudy and drizzly. Otherwise, we'd have got baked alive, right? Even
sure.
if it's 78 degrees. The weather was perfect, Mitch. It was on Thursday, it was 64 and overcast. We had a meeting with the Blackhawks. It was 3.5 miles from our hotel. I walked it.
Did you really?
They went Uber. Everybody's on their own. Forget about it. I took part of the way on the Riverwalk. And
The Riverwalk there.
perfect.
Oh, the Riverwalk in the summertime in Chicago.
it's perfect. Guy asked me for money on the walk. I got a suit on. I got the thing over my shoulder. I said, listen, brother, I'm dead broke. I'm walking 3 hours to get to a meeting. He said, oh, better luck. I guess it's a good line now. I'm really...
You are big into real aces in Major League Baseball.
Fake aces.
You don't like fake aces in baseball, or as you call some goalies like Jake Onger with the Dallas Stars. But I think that you're pretty excited to talk about this. You love betting the Cy Young as well. You have 5 emerging aces for us to watch.
Emerging aces. There's
Okay.
different stages of emergence, but these are all guys. One might be considered the 8 of us. Anyhow, 5 guys I wanted to throw out there that I think they will become aces soon into the future. I'll start one with people might not think about. How about Brian Wu with the Mariners? He's on a staff loaded with arms, and Castillo would be considered the ace, but Gilbert and of course we saw George Kirby last night. But Wu, think about Wu. He's 5-2 with a WHIP sub-1 and a BABIP 2.62. But in the month of May, 30 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Oh, man.
He's got exceptional control.
Like every game's the same with him.
Right.
You're going to get 6 strong, and he's going to allow basically nothing.
Yeah. This might be a controversial one because the kid is 2-5. But anybody that's got a K rate over 36%, you've got to circle this person. And he's playing on a team that's not great, but he can dominate a game and get himself out of trouble. Mackenzie Gore. I think you have to take a look at Mackenzie Gore emerging to be a top 6 to 8 pitcher in the National League in the next 2 years.
Going tonight against a Cubs team that is elite against lefties.
Yeah, the bad news I said for the Cubs was that he pitched Thursday night, so we knew we were going to get him when you got to Washington in this game. But this should be a very good matchup tonight. As you said, the Cubs feast on left-handers. Well, let's see what they do with this guy. Mm-hmm. I threw Hunter Green on the list. You could say he's been their ace, but I think now with a little consistency, I mean, he's thrown 101, 102 very consistently now. And if the guy can stay healthy, here's one thing: he's got his control. His walk numbers have come way down to where the WHIP's under 1, and the BABIP at 2.5 as well. Hunter Brown, some people argue he's the ace, not Framber. Although Framber, another complete game, second complete game of the year. Brown's been unbelievable. I mean, to have this many decisions already, and a FIP of 2.65. I mean, it's like these teams aren't ready for him every start. Mm-hmm. And then here's a guy that's had an exceptional fastball for several seasons, and he's really started to develop his I guess they call sweeper, but his slider and his curve this year. Joe Ryan. Yep. I think Joe Ryan is emerging as a top flight pitcher this year. Now, I think he got a little arrogant with a 6-0 lead against the A's the other night. I did not like the way he attacked it. You're not used to with Minnesota having a 6-run lead. That's the honesty of it. They usually have to pitch and try to score slim margins, because your team's going to get you 2 or 3 runs. And so I thought he got a little arrogant the other night. But the 2 on the list I really like that I think are underrated are Ryan and Wu, because Brown is getting his accolades now. What is he like? My Cy Young ticket at 22-1 is probably worthless because Skubal is just going to go out there. If the Tigers will ever let him throw more than 80 pitches.
I know. I took Bubic.
Nice way to end the month.
Yeah, exactly right. I took Bubic at 40-1 last Friday
because he's disqualified. I disqualify him.
No,
he skipped his start, so he didn't have to face.
Why was that, by the way?
He skipped the start. He was supposed to go Saturday.
Was that him or was that the team?
I don't know, but I disqualify him because of that.
Okay, so based on all of that, and I'll get into the Greg Maddux poker tournament coming up here in a second. But I think we've been waiting on this for more than 3 months, or almost 3 months, because Greg Maddux was here on opening day at Circa to throw out the first pitch, as he's done now for a couple of years in a row. Mm-hmm. You have yet to tell the audience on this show, Maddux told you who he thinks the best pitcher of all time is.
So I asked him, and he doesn't bet baseball, right? And his brother's still the pitching coach in Texas. He says, I bet golf. I don't bet baseball. I said, well, if you were a betting man, any Cy Young guys you'd be looking at this year. He goes, what's DeGrom? And I think it was 28-1 here on opening day. He goes, oh, yeah, if he's healthy, he wins it. He said he's the best pitcher in baseball. I said, he was the best pitcher in baseball for a span of about 4, maybe 5 years. He goes, no, Mike, DeGrom is the greatest pitcher the game's ever seen. He said it standing outside this booth where we were waiting to come on with Stormy on opening day.
He really thinks that?
Yes. He said that a guy can throw 100 and put it right at the outside corner on the knees every time. That's everybody wants to talk about the spin rate and the exit velo and launch angles. It's still control. And I talked to this kid, Lance, that works for the Cubs and Marquee. He's a studio reporter. Sometimes he does the sidelines for them because he's a big analytics guy. And he worked for Driveline for years. And we had a talk in the parking lot where we were doing our tailgate on Friday. And I said, I'm not a big Driveline guy because I think we lose the art of pitching. He goes, Mike, control doesn't sell to 16-year-olds. They're not getting signed to deals because they have great control. It's all about speed and spin rate.
Well, that's kind of sad.
Well, it's an interesting way of thinking about it, though, right? I mean, we talked to Josh Towers at length about these kind of things.
Yeah. So was this on your way back to the hotel for a 3-hour walk in the parking lot, or was
this is when we
separately?
did the tailgate before the Cubs game.
Oh, okay,
my walks were on Thursday.
On Thursday only,
Yeah,
okay.
where there's no sun.
No
All right, so-
Portillo's either?
No Portillo's.
Oh, bad beat.
Any other? Did you have any true Chicago food the whole time? Like tavern style
we had
pizza.
we had
hot
the
beefs?
dogs. I mean, at the tailgate, but no, we went out to some nice dinners. I mean, we had fish one night, steak the next night. So
Okay, so
we got to go to Kentucky. I don't know if Derek told you that we were in Kentucky.
he didn't have time. No.
Yeah, we were in Kentucky before we flew in Wednesday to see the progress of our permanent book there. It's really coming along.
Good.
Beautiful space in their
Great
expansion. So yeah,
Let's hope
exciting.
they don't come up with some crazy.
The VSiN studio, the desk spins. So you're sitting here, but you can also spin around and look at the crowd, like if you're a podcaster, and the windows open.
Oh, phenomenal!
Yeah, they open, so you can
All right.
crowd surf. Just pass the small host
Can we
out
move to
into the
Nashville
crowd.
and do the 30-minute
I
drive
think it's
to do
open
shows
right
from there?
now. I think it's
Is it-
open.
Okay, so then go ahead. The floor is yours. What do we need to know about the Greg Maddux tournament?
Yeah, so we still have seats left. At $3,000 buy-in, $75,000 prize pool. This is played Sunday night at Legacy Club. You can go onto the Circa website or Baller Dream website to sign up. But I wanted to give you a list of some of the celebrities that are going to be there this year. Of course, Maddox. Raleigh Fingers is back.
Yeah.
Wally Joyner, who's actually a very funny guy. For you Bears fans, Jim McMahon.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we get him in studio?
he'd
I'd love to talk to
That'd
him.
be a trip.
Yeah, A.J. Cole, Daniel Carlson, and Dalton Wagner from the Raiders, which is not the most represented football team. I'll get to that at the end. The Crime Dog is going to be here.
Oh, Fred
All right.
McGriff.
Fred
Oh, I
McGriff.
love Fred
Yeah.
McGriff.
He likes to hit home runs when it's 9-2, though.
The Merchant of Speed, Vince Coleman.
Oh,
Wow,
will be in
RBI
attendance.
baseball and Nintendo. Hello, Vince.
Another member of Maddox's staff for a while with the Braves and the A's, Steve Avery will be there.
Yeah.
Johnny Gomes, Marty Barrett's going to be there. Speaking of two,
Marty Barrett, yeah.
Speaking of two Red Sox greats, a lot of 49ers. The number of 49ers: Eric Wright, Jesse Sapolo, Dwight Hicks, and Keena Turner will all be there. Members of those 49ers teams. Keena Turner currently a VP for the 49ers.
Very good.
Oh,
Good.
and super agent Scott Boras is playing in the poker tournament.
You're kidding.
That's the guy I want to talk to, I think.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Bet he's got
$3,000, go online, Baller Dream or Circa if you want to play Sunday night.
Do it. And also, CircaLasVegas.com. Go all in with the ultimate getaway, just $400, 2-night stay, $100 dining, $100 beverage credit, and your own day bed at Stadium Swim, where the party never stops. All for $400. Go between May 26th and September 4th. Lock it in. The all-in summer package now, CircaLasVegas.com.
After last weekend, Mike appreciates the Major League Baseball replay system. I can't wait to hear about this, and You Cannot Be Serious next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The women player.
Welcome back as we continue here with Mike Palm, who is the VP of Circa Las Vegas, the Golden Gate, and the D here in downtown. Time now for You Cannot Be Serious.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
Let's start off in Paris, France, with the French Open, which has famously pitted all of the top players against each other as we get to the quarters and semis, and we'll see a great matchup between Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Pacific time. But how about the wild card?
Yes.
Louise Bosson, the French lady who got a wild card into the tournament, ranked 356th in the world. Now, do you know what Bosson's claim to fame was before this run she made? Are you familiar with it?
I know the answer is I do not.
Okay, well, it's pretty good. So, Rouen, which was a tournament a couple weeks ago in France on clay, that's one of the preps for the French Open, she was playing the English player Harriet Dart. Harriet Dart complained to the chair referee during the changeover. Tell her to wear deodorant. She smells really bad.
No.
Oh, yes, it's all on video. It was caught during the broadcast of the match. You see her greatest weapon here as she raises the arm to defeat her. Oh, it was great. It was great fun because, like, Dove came out. They were going to sponsor her and all of this. 356. She's into the semifinals of the French Open. She had never played a player in her life higher than ranked 60th. She beat Jessica Pegula, the trust fund baby from the Bills franchise, in 3 sets to get to the corners, and then she beat Mira Andreeva, the Russian sensation teenager, today in straight sets. Andreeva was minus 1,000 this morning pre-match in this thing. What an incredible story. But the point of it is Harriet Dart asking her to wear deodorant. Harriet Dart!
You cannot be serious!
All right, Mitch, the king of the teaser, said we should all be thankful for the Major League Baseball replay system because there were 2 absolutely incredible replays over the week. And let's start out Friday night in Eugene, Oregon, at the Eugene Regional. Overall 12th seed, Oregon seeded 1 in that region against Utah Valley, who entered the tournament 33-27. Oregon is down in the bottom of the 8th, 6-4. They have runners on first and third and nobody out. Chase Meggers hits a fly ball to left field. Anson Arose, who's on third base, tags and comes home. Now, the catcher sets up maybe 4 feet in front of the plate right in the baseline because the ball's going to beat him. But the ball takes a short hop and bounces over the catcher's head. So now here comes Anson Arose to come in. What's he going to do? The catcher's blocking the plate. Could have done a Pete Rose, I guess. Ray Fosse broke his collarbone. He slides into him, and of course, as they collide, what would you do? Your arms naturally come out just to protect yourself. Not malicious at all. He didn't strike him. They both fell over. He walked around, touched the plate, safe. Runner tagged and went to second, obviously, as the ball got away. So it's 6-5, runner on second with 1 out. But wait, the play is challenged. The play is challenged by Utah Valley for malicious contact by the base runner. An 11-minute replay review, which is done in Pittsburgh for the NCAA. And they come back and say the contact was determined malicious, Paul. No run, the runner's out, and the runner had to return to first. They didn't score in the inning. They scored in the 9th, but lost 6-5. It's an incredibly bad review. An incredibly bad ruling, and no way was that contact malicious. And what is he supposed to do? It's supposed to be obstruction before there can be contact. Somebody's in front of the base without the ball. Horrible call, probably affected the result of the game. NCAA!
You cannot be serious!
The Women's College World Series said, hold my beer on Sunday. If you think that 11-minute review is bad, wait for this one. Down to their last out in an elimination game, UCLA is playing Tennessee. Megan Gant hits a 2-run homer with 2 outs in the top of the 7th to tie the game at 4. As she comes around, her whole team's waiting for her, cheering in moments of delirium at home plate. She steps over the plate. Teammates are hugging her, this and that. Wait, though. Wait. Some of the bench players were paying attention to it. As the whole huddle starts to go back to the bench, the girl grabs her and says, you didn't touch the plate. She walks back and touches the plate. Tennessee challenges. In the rulebook, it states no player from the dugout may assist a batter runner. No player from the dugout. Okay. So, in other words, another runner that was on base or the on-deck batter could have assisted her to tell her you didn't hit the plate. But no player that started the bat in the dugout So Tennessee challenges. Guess how long this review took? I went back. I was taping the game.
I thought it was like 13 minutes.
No, you're short. I watched a whole quarter of the UFL was played in the time this review was done. Remember, the running clock for a minute past.
Oh, man.
Third quarter of a game was played. 17 minutes. I mean, literally, the camera was just on the umpire, standing at home plate like this, waiting. 17 minutes, he comes back. This is the greatest ruling of all time.
This is the best part.
This is Paul. Video review confirms that the batter missed home plate and that the batter was assisted by a player from the dugout to hit home plate. However, this play is not reviewable.
True, yeah, yes.
Oh, my.
The ruling was you cannot review the port of the play where it's an assist by a dugout player. Why? I mean, why? Here's what gets even better. And the Tennessee coach said there were 4 people in the whole stadium didn't see her hit the plate, the 4 umpires. Here's what gets even better. So the umpires, you know, the pool report at the end of the game?
Yeah.
The home plate umpires, or the crew chief says, even if it had been reviewable, the punishment is a warning at first.
Oh, my God. I missed that part.
17 minutes to say you couldn't review it, and if you did review it, it would still be around even if they had a sister. Again, the NCAA.
You cannot be serious.
I was watching this in real time. I'm like, this is going to be a 30-minute review.
me
She
a
missed the
break.
plate. What are we watching?
Yeah.
They weren't reviewing. They were calling the NCAA to find out the rules.
So I was not watching it live, but ESPN, like their coverage was all over it, like on the website.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is this on the front page? Why is it such a big deal? And then they
Yep.
were showing the replay. I'm like, oh my God, what is this?
What's going on?
It was terrible. I can't imagine sitting through that whole thing live.
It's so funny because the Tennessee coach and her assistants had this white book, and it was said NCAA softball rules, and they're going through it, and then they're like trying to get the camera around to see the page that they were on, and then they're calling out the rule. It was crazy.
And then Tennessee
How about-
eventually hung on to win the game.
They come back, they win in the 9th, they lose to Texas. It starts tonight, Texas versus Texas Tech. Oklahoma down to their last strike, hits the 2-run homer, going for the 5-peat, but then Texas Tech scores in the bottom of the 7th.
It's over. Joker just beat Zverev, by the way.
Wow.
4-6, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4. He advances. He'll take on Sinner
Give me a number.
2 days from now.
You think?
Oof.
Is he a big,
Oh,
has he lost
Sinner-
a set yet?
First of all, Alcaraz and Sinner are playing so much above a level. I mean, they're just on a collision course.
What is your Stanley Cup prediction?
So
Hit me.
I believe Florida is slightly better. But in hockey, all of us know, and everybody that follows hockey that's listening, every great superstar gets their cup. Who's the best player never to win a cup in the NHL? Marcel Dion? I mean, it's not like Pavel Bure, right? I mean,
Pavel
Russian
Bure was
rocket,
really,
he
really
was
good.
awesome.
I'm just trying to say who was the. But they wouldn't be considered the best players of their era, right? All the superstars, these alphas, all get it, and I think it's McDavid and to some extent Draisaitl's time.
Did you bet him?
I did not. I bet them small when they took a 2-0 lead on the Knights at 8-1. I have just a small play on it. I hedged it a bit with Florida minus the game and a half, plus 170, just to try to work.
Did you see how high they were down 0-2 to L.A.?
No.
You did not?
No.
Okay.
I had L.A. Jim
So did
Hiller.
I. So
I'm
did
telling
I.
you, if they win it,
I know.
they
He's the
got to
MVP.
send a ring to Jim Hiller.
That's right.
The worst challenge I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely. Yep,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
doubt
You
about it.
documented it on the show.
Yep. Well,
They were dead.
It's Canada's time,
Dead.
too. I mean, this is ridiculous. 1993. Come on. VSiN fans, how'd you like to play Circa Survivor or Circa Millions contest for free? Winner's Circle Proxy giving away one free entry to each contest, plus full proxy service. Enter now for your chance to win. winnercircleproxy.com/VSiN. Credible giveaway. winnercircleproxy.com/VSiN. We're up to 430 in Survivor already?
Yeah, almost 450, and there's still we see down there our friend from Buffalo, Mikey Palmieri signing up with Tom Carroll. The amount of appointments the proxies have on Saturdays is incredible.
I bet.
I walked in Saturday morning at like 10 o'clock. I said, holy cow, 12 of the 14 booths are full. Then I noticed like 5 of them were proxies signing people up.
I bet.
Going to soar past 15,000 people for Survivor.
I'd be sick if we only got 15 million in the pool. I think we get 20.
I think you're right.
I think I'm very confident in that. Well, the other thing I want to say is we shouldn't panic that there's only one Grandissimo.
Well,
People are not going
right.
to tie up 100,000 for
Well,
4
who's
months.
panicking?
For 4 months.
Derek?
Well, everybody keeps calling. What are you up to now? What are you up to? I said,
God,
we're
what are you
going
up
to be
to?
at 1 till the week of the season
I
starts.
was gonna say-
believe, right? I mean,
Well, I was
unless the
gonna say,
person can
yeah, what
only
do you-
get out here at some point.
Right. Will you get a second entry before September 1st?
That's a good. We
prep.
should put up the line on the time of the second entry.
Yeah.
I put my number at 39.5 total entries.
What?
You think that's
39 and a half?
Think it's high?
Yeah, wow.
What do you think?
I go under.
Well, what's your number?
I'd say in the 30 range.
Okay, well, not that far off, Paul.
No.
You look like I had it third ahead.
Wow.
Yeah. Paul, what's your number, Paul?
17 and a half.
Well, I think I'll go
Yeah, I'll
over
go
that.
over that,
Go
yeah.
over that one. Great to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, great
Yeah,
job.
there you go. Mike Palm up
B+.
next. Jeff Seeley on the program. His betting approach for the RBC Canadian Open next year on VSiN.